Sonny, what advice would you give to a young lad who came to you and said, I want to become a boxer? What would you tell him as regards training and so forth?
Well, they always told me anything you want to do your best and be the best at it.
47 fights, 4 world champions I fought 9 guys in the top 10, and nobody ever hit me like that guy. Every time he hit, he broke something.
And he hit Lincoln with a shot. His helmet flew off, and we thought his head had flew off.
Sonny Liston was born out of necessity. His parents were sharecroppers, and another pair of hands meant a smaller division of labor. Sonny was treated like a beast of burden, a mule to be whipped whenever his dad was in a bad mood. Sonny's mom was decades younger and gave him some of the only happy memories he'd ever have. She also gave him the physical gifts that would bring him fame and infamy in nearly equal parts. Sonny had one of the longest reaches
Liston, making them count.
and some of the biggest hands in history. Liston developed a fearsome reputation as a street fighter after joining his mom in St. Louis. Sonny becomes known to the St. Louis PD as the Yellow Shirt Bandit. Before long, he ends up doing time. Behind bars, Sonny gets his first boxing lessons. The prison chaplain believed deeply in Sonny's potential and organized a sparring session with the professional. After just 2 rounds, the pro was begging to get out of the ring. Liston's aptitude for fighting would get him an early release from prison. Problem was, the only people willing to finance his training were his fellow criminals. When it became clear Liston was on the path to a championship, his management was passed to a frontman for the mob. His crushing power and intimidating presence saw him destroy most of his early opposition with ease. Sonny would have a series of progressively more violent altercations with St. Louis PD.
The police was picking on Sonny.
Liston was picked up over 100 times and questioned, held overnight, then released for lack of evidence or probable cause. The harassment finally came to a head. Sonny fights an officer, cuts his face badly, and breaks his knee. When backup arrived, Liston essentially squared up to the entire department, fighting through nightsticks getting broken over his skull. When Liston was finally released, word was put out by a police lieutenant: leave St. Louis or get carried out in a casket. With that, Sonny Liston relocates to Philadelphia. Fighting 8 times in 1958, Liston looked like a man fighting boys.
Liston in black, Whitehurst in the white trunks.
Standing up to him amounted to a suicide attempt.
Westfall has never been knocked off his feet until now.
The sole survivor of Sonny's horrific onslaught was a veteran named Bert Whitehurst. While he was undersized and totally outgunned, Bert seemed to have a strategy for dealing with the big bear.
A nice overhand right.
By waiting on Liston's impossibly long jab to uncoil and countering with power he could land before Sonny could reel it back in, then got out of dodge before Liston could return fire.
124. All-around athlete.
It might not have won him rounds, but it kept him in a fight he had no business being in.
That long left jab.
Bert made the final bell. Even if it had to save him.
7, 8, 9, the bell rang. The bell rang and he's on his feet. I don't know whether it'll be scored a knockout or not.
Even a physical specimen like Sonny was bound to meet his match. Cleveland Big Cat Williams was sculpted like he belonged standing on a pedestal for the next 4 centuries. And all of that muscle was not just for show. Cleveland looked like the only man who might be able to match the raw physicality of Sonny Liston. While it might not have been for the heavyweight championship, if a BMF title existed back then, it would have been on the line between these two. Cleveland immediately opens up and manages to shatter Sonny's nose with a left hook. With the Big Bear recoiling in pain, the Big Cat pounces. Sonny takes the full force of it, spinning the first round on the back foot, getting pushed around until he finds his feet.
30 seconds left, round number 1.
With the minute between rounds, the Big Bear comes roaring back. Goes after the Big Cat like a poacher.
Throwing now an occasional lead with his right hand. Sonny Liston bombing him.
When neither man backs down, it didn't take long to determine who the baddest man in the division was.
And a left hook catches Cleveland Williams. Battling to stay on his feet. Bang to the canvas again. 3, 4.
And it wasn't Cleveland Williams.
Winner by a TKO, Sonny Liston.
The title was held by a lightning-quick former light heavyweight named Floyd Patterson. While Patterson possesses some of the fastest hands in history, his manager, Cus D'Amato, knew his limitations. Blinding speed won him the title, but Floyd defended it at a snail's pace, fighting as little as once a year against underwhelming or under-deserving contenders.
Patterson smashes a right to the jaw and moves in and floors him again with a right to the head. Sends Pete into the ropes. Patterson sends Pete down again.
Patterson was a humble introvert, and all the sports respected him. But he wasn't the best fighter in the division. Sonny was. Cus pointed to Liston's ties to the criminal underworld as a reason to sidestep him.
Floyd Patterson probably didn't have a chance in hell of beating Sonny Liston.
The reality was Cus knew what he saw. 2 months after Sonny won his shootout with Williams, Floyd Patterson hit the deck 7 times against Ingmar Johansson.
6-year-old European champion, undefeated in 21 bouts. He will have a 14-pound weight advantage at 196 to Patterson's 182. There he goes again.
The pair would fight a trilogy that tied up the title, and Liston was left watching. Waiting, knowing in his heart what would happen, if only he got the chance. Sonny stayed busy, fought another short and violent war with Williams that was just as decisive as the first.
Open to deflect that left lead of Sonny Liston. There's Cleveland opening up now. And the crowd is partisan here and pulling for the hometown boy. There's a hard left hook. There's a hard right scored by Liston. Buckled the knees up. His knees are rubbery. Cleveland gets it, a hard right and the left is down. Winner with his 19th knockout, his 28th win and 29th starts. A strong challenger for the world heavyweight title, Sonny Liston.
Sonny seemed to make a point out of taking out quickly mutual opponents shared between himself and Patterson. Nobody got it worse than Roy Harris. Roy took Patterson deep into the championship rounds. Sonny dropped him with every punch he touched him with. Albert Westphal got it worst of all.
And coming in the ring on the left side of your screen now is Sonny Liston, the most feared man in boxing at any weight. Westphal has never been knocked off his feet until now.
That's the first time Westfall's ever been on the floor.
Woke up in the middle of the first round. Westfall's post-fight interview summed up everybody's view on rematches with Sonny Liston.
Would you like to fight him again?
Oh, no.
Once was enough.
I do not want them to
All right,
winner.
now-
On a knockout, Charles Sonny Liston.
Despite the sound advice of everybody around him, from Customato all the way up to John F. Kennedy, Floyd Patterson insisted. Floyd volunteered for execution. Liston versus Patterson was a horrifying anticlimax. A fly
40 fights, 29 of them by knockout.
agreeing to fight a windshield.
The heavyweight title, the only man ever to win it. Sonny Liston moves out to face the big chance of his 28 years of a turbulent life. Patterson's plan is to get inside Liston's long jab and work on the challenger's body.
Prey decides to grapple with an apex predator.
Patterson's bobbing and weaving make Liston miss often. Moving in, the champion shaking off the effect of that left hook.
All it took was a collar tie. One punch with a free hand sees Floyd's legs buckle.
And now that final combination that left the grazing right.
With an arm slung over the top rope, Liston's feet dig into the earth with developing prodigious torque. That was all it took. When Sonny returned to Philadelphia, he expected a champion's welcome home. Only his family was there to greet him.
After Sonny won the title in Chicago, he was going through on a United flight back some of the things he was going to say at his reception at the airport. And he said, I know a lot of my own people were against me. And he said, I want to prove to them that I'm not going to disgrace them, I'm not going to embarrass them, that I'm going to make them proud.
It hurt Sonny worse than any punch. Fly versus Windshield 2 was held 10 months later.
Responsibly acting for the seconds in the corner. You both received your instructions.
The first telling punch is Liston smashing right to the body. Patterson, trying to get underneath the champion's straight punches, runs into a right uppercut which sets up the challenge. Two jarring right hands followed by the knockout blow, the left uppercut.
Lasted 5 seconds longer. The difference is made up mostly by the referee counting.
Bewildered, is not sure that the fight has been stopped, this time in 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Sonny had already cleared out his division while waiting to fight Floyd. With no obvious number one contender, it was decided new blood was needed. Cassius Clay was slicing his way through the heavyweight division.
It's the left hand that he's causing the trouble with. It goes back down. That's a knockdown, all right. Now Clay seems to be coming on a little bit.
Trickle of blood below it. That's knocked down.
Now 19-0 with a mouth nearly as fast as his hands. It might be the only time in his career the general public was actually rooting for Sonny Liston,
Impersonating a fighter.
if only to see the loudmouth lose.
Here in Miami, talking about I talk too much, and Liston's gonna whoop me. Well, I want all of them to be there, and I'm gonna shut up all of his mouth.
I'm ready to go to war, and I've been talking and predicting. I ain't scared of nobody.
It's gonna be a hard. It's gonna take a good man to whoop me. You can look at me. I'm loaded with confidence. I can't be beat. I done had 180 amateur fights, 22 professional fights, and I'm pretty as a girl.
I'm young, I'm handsome, I'm fast, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat. He's too ugly to be the world champ. The world champ should be pretty like me.
Championship of the world.
When the opening bell sounds, Cassius Clay takes off running like a jackrabbit. Sonny was his usual marauding self, but Cassius was anything but usual.
Cassius Clay on the move as we see, looking to get Sonny to run, carrying his left hand dangerously low. Sonny has to set the pace. That's the way it looks at the outset. Awkwardly fast. Good long left lead that might keep the champion a bit off balance. Very flip over body, head, and right hand. The best punch of the fight so far.
Sonny had been having problems in camp with bursitis in his shoulders. Missing all these power punches only served to aggravate it. Cassius might not have been the heaviest hitter, but speed has a power all its own. Sonny's corner had one last dirty trick up its sleeve. Cassius starts pawing at burning eyes. Clay wanted the fight stopped, but Angelo Dundee did his best to clear his fighter's vision. Gave his man the only advice he realistically could. Run.
Sonny's gonna try to part on.
When Clay's eyes clear and he starts striking back,
Only 30 seconds to go in this sixth round. The crowd now cheering the challenger. Let's get over to our champion.
the champion does the unthinkable and refuses to come out for another round.
That cut close. And do you feel as though Sonny, you don't see too well out both his eyes now because they're pretty well puffed out. And I think Clay got all of them going winning now. They might be stopping it. That might be all, ladies and gentlemen. Get up there, Joe. Get up there. Get up in the ring.
Yeah. And I upset Sonny Liston, and I just turned 22 years old. I must be the greatest. I told the world. I talk to God every day. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. I shook up the world.
The rematch is a convoluted mess. Cassius Clay converts to Islam and is given the name Muhammad Ali.
We declare our right on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the rights of a human being in this society, on this earth, in this day, which we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary.
The rematch is supposed to be held in the Boston Garden. But with Liston's mob associates making threats towards Ali and Ali's Muslim brothers making threats towards Liston, the venue drops out, believing a bloodbath would be bad for business. A last-minute scramble found a small arena in the remote country town of Lewiston, Maine. What happened that night is a matter of who you believe.
Both know the rules of Maine, so I'm in here to enforce them. So I'll say to you, keep your punches up, protect yourself.
Is shooting mostly, although he's going to the head now, mostly toward that body. You know the old story, you kill the body and the head might follow.
What isn't up for debate is Liston charging in and taking a short chopping right hand in the first and hitting the deck. Referee Jersey Joe Walcott directs Ali to his corner, but the champion stands over Sonny, taunting and calling him to his feet. As Walcott wrangles the champion, the ringside 10 count is ticking down. Liston gets to his feet and even appears ready to fight, but Walcott waves it off. It goes down in the record books as a first-round KO. The press dubbed it the Phantom Punch. Sonny Liston had fought through broken jaws and noses before, but the boxing world believed whatever happened in Lewiston wasn't on the level. Sonny Liston would win his next 14 fights.
This is it. Referee Frank Carter.
13 of them by knockout. But he was never allowed near the title again. In 1970, Sonny took on a man named Chuck Wepner. Chuck was called the Bayonne Bleeder. Against Sonny, he'd live up to that moniker. Rumor has it Sonny was told by backers that he needs to throw the fight.
I believe the Wepner fight was a deal that went terribly, terribly wrong.
The only thing Sonny threw was his giant fists. Wepner ended the fight with a loss on his record and dozens of stitches in his face. Days later, Sonny Liston, a man with a well-documented and lifelong fear of needles, was found dead in his home of an overdose.
Sonny Liston, the former heavyweight boxing champion, was found dead last night in his Las Vegas home by his wife. He was 38.
His gravestone simply read, "A man."
Sonny Liston, possibly the greatest intimidator of all time.